Warning, this episode contains adult language, mature situations, bird-faced protagonists with low self-esteem, crazy power combat scenes, convention updates, manga news, and violence. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Listener and viewer discretion is advised. Spiraken Manga Review, episode 559. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spiraken Manga Review. I'm your host, Zan, saying konnichiwa, aloha, bonjour, and what's up? Hope you're doing good and hope you're excited for another fun-filled episode of this awesome podcast you can find at www.spiraken.com and at youtube.com/@Spiraken. I hope you're excited for another fun-filled episode. But before that, I'd like to thank everyone who is checking me out today. You all are awesome and hope you're doing great. And for everyone who was at Animazement, I hope you had a great con. I had a blast. We're going to be talking about how that was in a upcoming con report. I'm currently working on it, so we're going to get to that in a bit. And again, apologies for my background. For those of you who are not aware, I'm currently moving, so things are moving around. But I digress, so let's actually get to it, because if you remember from that last episode, I spun that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga, and it dictated to be there reviewing a pretty unique manga, a very, well, familiar manga. Let's get to it. So, in the last episode, we're talking about a manga that was written by Sui Ishida. Yes, the creator of Tokyo Ghoul has created a new manga series. This one was inspired by a bunch of events, and, well, it's a different take on certain elements, but we're going to get to that in a moment. This was published by Shueisha, brought over here by Viz Media. It technically is under the signature line, so this is for adults. It's a seinen series. This was released in Weekly Young Jump magazine. Its original run was 2021. It's still coming out to this day with currently 8 volumes. It is an action supernatural series. It is a seinen, and the original name for this is Choujin X, but in English it is known simply as Choujin X. And this is a story of a world where beings known as Choujin exist. Now, what are Choujins? Well, similar to the creatures that are called ghouls in Tokyo Ghoul, similar to the Ajin in Ajin, the manga series, these creatures are the fringe of society and they have unique and unusual powers. Each one is slightly different. And they are kind of a menace of what's going on. And there's tons of really screwed up members of these who have unique abilities. There's also some who want to save the day. Think My Hero Academia, but instead of it being 90% of the world, it's like 12% of the world. And the Choujins cause tons of problems. And this actually opens up with a young girl named Iki flying in an airplane because she is going to a local farmer market to show her grandpa's produce at the farmer's market and sell tons of it. These really unique tomatoes that are really famous are actually called bumpkin tomatoes because they are made by essentially her and her family, who are kind of a bunch of hillbillies. And she's excited because her plan is to sell these, make a lot of money, and then achieve her goals in life. And what are her goals in life? Well, pretty simple. Her goals in life are she's going to make a lot of money, which is what she wants. She wants to make money to take care of her grandma and grandma. And then he's going to get a pesticide spraying drone, a brand new tractor, a fully augmented temperature-regulated hoop greenhouse. She wants to live in a ginormous house. She's going to get a gigantic dog, and then she's going to meet some handsome Goldilocks man to be her hubby and live a wonderful life. And that is Ellie's entire dream. That's what she wants. It's pretty simple. It's make money, get married, have a dog, live a nice life. And she loves her family. Unfortunately, on this airplane, one of the people on there is a completely crazy person who gets very stressed out when things don't go his way, and it is revealed that he is a Choujin who ends up melting and burning a bunch of people on this airplane. Yeah, this is really bad. So this really sweet scene of this girl who wants to do nice things and is really nice to this old lady next to her, her face gets melted off, which is pretty bad. But this is not our main character. Our main character introduced is Tokyo. And Tokyo is, well, to put it bluntly, he is a sidekick. He is the sidekick to his best friend Azuma, who Azuma is the son of a police chief. He believes in justice. He's the most popular kid in school. He is the best there is. And Tokyo is his friend. He's there for emotional support, and he's just there. He's not really doing that great in life, but he's trying. And whenever something bad happens, it's actually Tokyo who calls Azuma and says, "Hey, someone's being hurt. We need help." And then Azuma comes and saves the day, because Azuma's awesome. Meanwhile, Tokyo's just like, I'm trying the best I can be. What do you think we should do, Azuma? Okay, Azuma. Whatever you say, Azuma, because Tokyo has low self-esteem. He's not doing good in life. He has ideas, but for the most part, he just does whatever Azuma wants, because Azuma is his best friend, and he really cares about Azuma. It gets further into that, actually, as we look into the past. But what happens is that in the beginning, we find this out about them, and also we see that Azuma like I said, defends the weak, kicks butt. He's handsome. He's amazing. He knows Taekwondo and is a black belt. And he's able to save people. And one day they save a girl from a bunch of goons. And it ends up with Ozma breaking the arms of this boss goon, pretty much with an awesome kick. Really cool. And they're thanked, and it's like, I'm Ozma, this is Tetsuo, or Tokyo, we're here to save the day. That is our shtick. And that's what it is. It's this relationship that's kind of not parasitic, but it's, well, when they're younger, they go to the zoo and they say, what type of animal do you want to draw? And Tokyo ends up drawing a vulture. And one of his classmates says, hey, Ozma, you know what? You're like a lion. You're like the king of the class. You're handsome, you're strong, and you're king of the beasts. And I know what animal you are, Tokyo. You're a buzzard, because you eat off the remains of what the lion says. And it's kind of insulting, because it's like, yeah, you're just essentially a carrion who's eating the remains of the popular kid, and that's not what he's doing. I mean, he's not taking the girls that like Ozma. It's just he's a friend who is not doing great. He's trying the best he can. He lives with his sister and his dad, and he's trying to make life work. It's from a working class family. Things aren't going well. But Ozma says, hey, listen, you're a good person. Things are going to be okay. Life is going to be good. And you know what? The buzzard is the fastest bird there is. Can travel faster than cheetah when they fly down. So be happy with who you are. So he's happy with his lot in life as essentially the sidekick to Ozma. However, the thugs that we talked about earlier end up getting a hold of this weird crazy person who has Choujin powers in a syringe and ends up injecting big bad guy in a syringe. And then after this incident happens, well, let's be honest, he's going to go for revenge. And he goes from someone who's a mama's boy thug boss to a crazy person with really weird powers. How weird are we talking about? Well, let's be honest. He gets the power of a mollusk, so he can stretch and be gross. Meanwhile, things are not going so hot for our main characters, because they're there to clean up a wreck, and this guy shows up to beat them up, and he goes crazy. He ends up killing his crew, and he is drugged up and just nuts at this point. Unfortunately, when he does this, he also drops the 2 syringes. There are 2 syringes left of this mysterious drug, and Ozma goes to grab one and use the injection, but Tokyo is like, I can't let you do that, because if you did that, something bad would happen, and I couldn't look myself in the face if something happened to you, so let me do this. I want to be a hero like you are, emulating your skills. And that's what happens. He ends up injecting himself with this drug. He doesn't know what it's going to do. It could be poison, but apparently it's supposed to give him powers. And Tokyo ends up becoming a superhero. Well, kind of. He ends up injecting himself with this drug, and craziness occurs. He ends up becoming super fast and getting a beak, because apparently the power works. It's whatever is in your mind that you most want to be. So the mollusk is shelled and protective. Obviously, bestial Choujin Tokyo Kurohara becomes a bestial. He's fast and can fly, and he's essentially a buzzard, but he has a beak nose. And he gets power, he beats the bad guy up, but then turns out he can't turn back to normal. His face is still a beak. He doesn't know what to do. He saves Ozma, tries to bring Ozma back, says, okay, we got this, I'll take you to the hospital. Ozma freaks out and says, get away from me. They'll just look at you weird if they see you at the hospital, so you should go home. So Tokyo kind of hides and doesn't know what to do. And this is him learning about his powers, also finding out that he can talk to birds. And then we find out what happened to Iki. Because earlier, like we said, Iki survives the plane crash. More importantly, she survives the burns because she's a Choujin with the power to absorb powers. More importantly, she absorbed the guy who shot the fireball at her, his powers. So she's a copycat. And he's going to teach her to be the best she can be. Meanwhile, she's like, I don't want that. Fuck that noise. I'm leaving. And she tries to escape, and she has to use all of her special abilities to save the day while being in Tokyo. And what are her special abilities? Well, she is a tractor expert, so she steals a tractor and drives away in the weirdest chase ever. This manga is crazy. And then from here it gets more odd, because it's a be careful of what you wish for story, and also a, not parody of Tokyo Ghoul, but it is some very similar beats to it, where we have, well, let's be honest, it is a story about someone who gains powers that are not exactly what they wanted, and they're dealing with what happens. Eventually they get the powers, they learn about the powers, and then they adapt from that. That is what Choujin X is about. It is a story of how being a superpowered creature isn't all it's cracked up to be, and more importantly, the awesomeness of having powers. It's the same problem that was in Tokyo Ghoul, which is our main character's turned into a ghoul who's a half ghoul, so he has to deal with his entire world shifting while dealing with that. The cool part is that unlike in Tokyo Ghoul, Tokyo, when he gets control of his powers finally, he's able to still interact with his family. He doesn't, I'm abandoning my family, doing my own thing. It's, I'm okay, I'm alive, but I'm a special witness for a FBI case, so I need to go away occasionally to do things, be a superhero. There's more going on. I'm trying to rush because I do not want to spoil this story. This story is, just like Tokyo Ghoul, it is well done. It is something which is very different in the story. It is not the typical, I have superpowers, I'm amazing, life is good, or the, I have superpowers and I'm going to abuse it. That's not this at all. This is, be careful for what you wish for and how to cope with the change in norm. And I like that element to it. The volume that comes in is actually a thicker volume. I think it's 2 volumes in one, which really, it makes sense for this to be just one volume. The art is amazing because we know that Sui Ishida does a great job with this artwork. One of my favorite scenes that I didn't want to show too much of, because I don't want to spoil too much, is like I said, it's the scene of all the biker gangs trying to catch Iki on a tractor. And they're all wearing sheep masks for reasons they don't really explain. But it's just such an insane scene. It's that scene for art because the tractor looks really well done. And the other one, which is really cool, let me get to it, is later on another Choujin shows up to assess and or kill Tokyo. And this one turns into a giant white snake. And it's something very different. It's not the typical powers of, oh, I'm strong, oh, I'm weak, or like in My Hero Academia, you know, I have the ability to turn invisible. I have a naval button. I can make purple things pop off my head. It's not that weird. It's more, you transform into abilities similar to an animal or a mimic, and that's your ability. Apparently there's someone who has the ability of iron cloth. They can turn things into iron. They're unique abilities, but they're weird. So I do like that. Overall, it is a story that is well done. The manga is one which makes me want to read more about it. It is weird, and the image is a little off-putting. Like I said, this is a really weird image. And the fact that it is from the creator of Tokyo Ghoul, you can either love it or hate it. But I think that you will enjoy it. There is some sex humor in it, not too much, nothing crazy. And some of the characters are really weirdly designed. Like the all-American guy who Iki has a crush on, who is actually a hero. Well, he looks like someone from Cromartie High School. He has the square jaw, square chin, square head. So it's kind of weird. But I do love this story. I think it is one that you really want to check out. And for that reason, I have to give this I'm going to give this our second highest rating of Borrow from a Friend, Don't Return Unless You're Offered Pocky. This is a story about power and having power that's different and also dealing with the stigma of being non-human anymore. This has been told before, and that's why I kind of dinged it, because it is being told in a way where it's like, okay, there are a lot of similar beats to so many other stories, but the artwork is different, the concept of the power is very different, and I have to admit, when you find out that his power also is he can talk to birds, it's kind of cool, and it makes sense that the character is not the main superhero. He is, like I said, a sidekick, essentially. He is the one who's the tag-along, who gets the powers. Meanwhile, the other person doesn't get the powers, and then Ozma has to deal with that situation, which shows more that Ozma is using Tokyo for his own ends. And that part makes their friendship kind of, more interesting, I think. But if you agree with me or if you disagree with me, you can email me personally at Xan, that's Xan, @Spiraken.com. Let me know your thoughts on if you like this, if you didn't like this, if you read Choujin X and you think that this is overrated, or if you love this, let me know. Email me, xan@Spiraken.com, or tweet me at Spiraken. Let me know your thoughts. And also, random question of the week is going to be, what form would you take as a Choujin? What do you think your animal ability is, or what power do you want? I mean, personally, I would want a healing factor like Wolverine, but realistically, I think my power would be the ability to stretch, probably like a Mr. Fantastic situation, or if it's ability I could choose, I mean, let's be honest, I like Gambit, I'd like to be an energy projector who can control it, not someone who can't control it. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. So, anyway, with that in mind, let's actually get to the manga releases for the week, and we've got a bunch from this week. So, starting off from the top, we've got The Blue Wolves of Mibu, Volume 2. Yes, this is the second volume of this very crazy series that, it's a retelling of the story of the Shinsengumi. And it's hinted that the main character is supposed to be Saito, but we're going to find out when I eventually review it. I have put it on the wheel. Next is The Country Without Humans, Volume 5. Breakfast for the Two-Tailed Cat, Volume 2. This is a story of someone who is having breakfast with a bakaneko. Didn't I say to make my abilities average in the next life? The light novel, Volume 18. Dungeon Builders, The Demon's King's Labyrinth is a Modern City, the manga, Volume 9. The Great Cleric, Volume 9. I'm the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire, the manga, Volume 4. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 6, Stone Ocean, Volume 4. Magus of the Library, Volume 7. Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, Recollections, the light novel, ebook. This is the ebook which you can get online. Also, supposedly the audio version is going to be coming out soon. The NPC is in the Village Sim game Must Be Real, Volume 6. Only the Stars Know. Origin, Volume 4. Otaku Elf, Volume 7. Pokemon, The Complete Pokemon Pocket Guide, Volume 2. She Professed Herself, The Pupil of the Wise Man, the manga, Volume 11. Sugumi Project, Volume 5. Turns Out My Online Friend Is My Real Life Boss, Volume 1. Vampire Dormitory, Volume 11. Wand Dance, Volume 9. Wandering Witch, the manga, Volume 5. And then last and certainly not least, What Did You Eat Yesterday, Volume 21. So these are the manga releases for the week. We've got some fun ones, some quiet ones, and one which I'm kind of offended that was even released still. But these are the ones that were released this week. So what were your favorites? Let me know. Or which ones are you least excited about? Email me at Spiraken.com. For me personally, my top 5 for this week are going to be The Blue Wolves of Mibu 2. Like I said, I definitely want to read this series. It looks fun. Breakfast with My Two-Tailed Cat, Volume 2. Again, it's a bakaneko story, so I should like it. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 6. Stone Ocean, Volume 4. It's JoJo's. It's Jolene. Enough said. Only the Stars Know. This story is a one-shot that I'm hearing some good rumors about, so we're going to see. And then Turns Out My Online Friend Is My Real Life Boss, Volume 1. This one looks like it's a buddy story. We're going to find out if it is or not. So we'll find out. So, anyway, so those are the releases for this week. And as usual, I want to thank each and every one of you who are checking out this podcast. Every email I get, every comment I get, it gives me more motivation to keep doing this podcast, and I love doing this. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm an old man who has to read manga as a old man with thick glasses. More importantly than that, I'd like to thank everyone who checked out my panels this weekend. It was a blast seeing you. Some of you were awesome to meet. You know who you are. I would shout out everybody, but I'm going to save that for my con review. I got a lot of pictures and a lot of statements about what's going on and my thoughts about the situation. I wasn't able to see some of the panels I wanted to go to, but that's just because, well, conflicts in schedule. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. But I digress. So, with that in mind, remember, if you have any questions, you can email me personally at Zan, that's XAN at Spiraken.com. You can tweet me at Spiraken. And, more importantly than that, if you are watching on YouTube, remember to like, share, subscribe, click on that bell for notification. And also, go to our website, Spiraken.com, and subscribe. If you're watching on Apple Podcasts, definitely leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on if you enjoyed this, if you don't enjoy this, your thoughts on what's going on and what I can improve to make this better. Now, with that in mind, let's get to the part that you have all been waiting for, the most popular part of this podcast. And what are we talking about? We are talking about that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga! Yes, friends, the Wheel of Manga, except no substitute. Now, what is the Wheel of Manga? The Wheel of Manga is a Wheel of Fortune with 10 slots on it. And what I've done is I've assigned a manga title to each of the 10 slots. So we're going to spin the Wheel of Manga, and whatever number it lands on, that manga that's in that spot is what I'm going to review in the next episode of the Spiraken Manga, episode 560. 560 episodes and 560 mangas. We have tons of great titles on here. Everything from Tying the Knot with an Amagari Sister to Tokyo Terabera Girls and so many others. So let's spin and see what we're going to review, shall we? Number 9. So in the next episode, I'm going to be reviewing Tokyo Terabera Girls, which is a manga written by the creator of Princess Jellyfish. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I don't know, but the main character is over 30. That's one thing I do know, and we're going to see how it goes. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. As usual, I am your host, Zan. I am Gonzville. Catch you guys next time, and keep reading manga. See you later.